I am researching Sunday school curriculums, she says, and would appreciate your thoughts on the new CPH curriculum. If you Google or you YouTube search for me and Sunday school, you might find a couple videos on this where I rage against Sunday school and stuff. So feel free to look that up. But you want to have my thoughts on the new CPH curriculum. I'm afraid I can't give you any actual thoughts on that. Enduring faith and what you use for education hour at your parish for children, youth, and adults. I can certainly talk about that, where it was, where it would be if we did such a thing, why I don't do such a thing and don't recommend such a thing ever again. The curriculum that I would recommend, bar none, if you're going to insist on having a class that splits your families up. I'm going to say that again very slowly. If you're going to insist on engendering a community in which your families do not remain families, then the curriculum you want to use for that clockwork, machine work, automaton way to teach your children the faith is Concordia Catechetical Academies. Now you're going to give me the name of it. What is it? It's Stories in the Scripture. What is it called? Concordia Catechetical Academy, the binders.
I know, I'm trying to think.
Oh, man.
Daily. Well, I can
Bible Stories for Daily Prayer. Bible Stories for Daily Prayer. They have, it's like 9 binders. You got 9 years worth of school curriculum there. Some of it's catechism based, but it's all Bible stories the whole time. It's a lesson plan. It's a million lesson plans on the whole Bible. It is all you need. Everything else that comes with any educational material on top of this effectively is a gimmick. And so you don't need more. You make your own gimmick. That's what makes it fun. Make your own craft. Don't buy the craft. I mean, what? So anyway, that's what I would use. That's what I recommend using. My only experience with Concordia Publishing House's curriculum for young people has come through, I think, vicarage and then an educational experience where I got to teach third graders for like a week at a school in St. Louis. And abortion came up and I got in trouble with that. That was like second year. Just shut your mouth, Jonathan. Don't talk about abortion with the kids. What? Anyway, and I listened, idiot. I remember teaching the class, and they were using the curriculum for the day school that was CPH. And I remember growing up with this, actually, these workbooks, and you tear the pages out and all this. I grew up on this stuff. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's like a word hunt with some words that are kind of in the Bible. And then there's like a matching word thing with some things that are like, they're like platitudes. They're like, the gospel shows us God's love. The law shows us God's wrath. Right? And it's like, so I'm supposed to teach like that plus 5 more sentences for the whole hour. And I mean, I had to use the curriculum. So I got them to write the word and then I talked about what the word said. And I did everything. There was nothing in the curriculum I actually taught. The curriculum was a complete waste of time. I wish I hadn't had it. And I've never seen anything that they brought out from CPH that is different than this. Why? It's not CPH. I have nothing against CPH. It's the theory of education that dominates American raising of young children. And we don't know what they are. Straight up, we don't know how they learn. We're quite dumb the way we go about it. They need attention. They need to ask questions. They need to have freedom to make mistakes and explore. And that all, when you're talking about church, happens much better in a small pod of 5 to 11 people who know each other well than thrown into a mix of boy and girl where you don't know anybody. You're afraid there's some weird old person talking, and eventually you're having hormonal troubles as well because you're in 7th grade now. How does this help us? I don't see it. Dewey's educational system. That's what you're doing. Well, the church can't survive without Dewey. We've got to put in place all of the American education reforms of the New Deal. Yeah, it wasn't quite, but it was at the same time. Same spirit. So for me, I just have no time for it, especially since it fell off our map accidentally here in St. Paul, right? So what happened was we had a family Bible study time, not Sunday school, but just everyone came into one room for a Bible study between the services. And with COVID's shutdown and all these things everyone made everybody do, that kind of fell away, and we haven't brought it back. And they've been patient with me in not bringing it back because I have insisted that the time between the service is more valuable for people to just talk to each other and, in fact, talk to me about the Bible if they want to do so, because I'm still there to talk about it, and they can start a study in a corner if they want. But that is families meeting families to share faith and life in conversation in a place of communion. Sunday school is a framework for training orphans to read the Bible originally, and now I would suggest a framework for preparing your children to leave you and to leave your faith. And so unless you're going against that framework with what you're doing inside of it, the framework's going to do more than anything else you do. Because you're just mirroring their public education, which is going to graduate from, just like confirmation from church, public education, you graduate from family, and off you go from church and family to find your own things in the world, and everyone wonders why they don't write or call. We did it to ourselves. It's the system you're in. You got to break the system if you want to do better. And you know you don't like the system. You know the institutions are collapsing. You know it's godless. So why defend it? Why hitch your horse to it just because Lutherans did it 100 years ago? Did Lutherans do it 500 years ago? No. 400? No. 300? No. 200? No. 100? Barely. Starting to. And what happened in that last 100 years? So can you understand why, for my part, it's like, if it's just that brand new, why don't we think maybe it's the cause of the problem rather than the answer? Because maybe it is. Maybe it's not the cause. Maybe it's one of many causes. Yeah. So, but if I had to, again, the Concordia Catechetical Academy curriculum, it's a single-page lesson sheet that because I've studied the Bible, I could walk in. You have to study the Bible if you're going to teach Sunday school, by the way. I mean, that's just crazy, right? So you have to have studied the Bible if you're going to teach Sunday school. You can't walk in with just the curriculum and expect to teach anything. Again, that's like asking the blind to lead the blind, and it's what you're doing. That's why they got to bring sugar and games and all this other stuff, because they have nothing to actually say. With a single sheet, I can walk in to a kindergarten class, I can walk into an 8th grade class, I can walk into a college class, the same sheet, and I can teach. That's Concordia CCA's Bible Stories for Daily Prayer. It's that good of a resource. And so I can't recommend it highly enough. It's the only thing you'll ever need. Buy it, make copies for your teachers, teach them to read the Bible. If you're going to, your teachers have to be reading the Bible, and they should be fathers. It will go better if they're fathers. I know everyone will say, why? But the women want to. I get it. I get it. That's what we say. We've been saying that for a long time, and I'm the only guy right now saying, well, I think maybe we should try it the other way. So you can complain if you want, or just try it the other way, because you notice nobody will. Yeah? And you don't want to complain when I suggest it. maybe that's the poison. Maybe that's the poison. Let's see here. There's more to this question. I see you're touching on my nerve. I have so many bad memories of Sunday school, both as a child, what it did to me in a Lutheran church, and then as an adult, pre-sem, sem, post-sem. There are so many ways in which, as a strategy for education, the 1 hour talking head entertainment dance is not the way to go. Not against what's going on out there right now. So it's a lot of energy for very little return, unless in fact you are those people who want to have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree to attend this church, because our pastor lectures every Sunday morning from 9 to 9:45 on the deep things of the Bible, but only for we who can understand what he says. Yes. And that's why no one will come. The other stuff is because it's a game of like one-upping your knowledge a little bit. Now, Safira, you're awesome, by the way. Your question's great, and the way you're going about this is awesome. Great strategy. I'm inquiring about this to multiple pastors, including our associate pastor, as we are obviously in the process of calling a new pastor. I'm assuming that's your new senior then, right? New overseer. Obviously, discussions will be had with the new pastor upon his arrival, and ultimately he will lead the decision. Yeah, that's why you're calling him. Yeah. But I would like to gather the research some solid curriculum and ideas to present as a member of the Board of Education in our church. So with all I just said, I think it's pretty important to say that if you're in a church that has Sunday school program, you're not going to get rid of it anytime soon. And to try to is to actually probably start a fight with a bunch of people who just want to drop their kids off. And they don't want to say that, and you can't say that, and so it's not a fair fight. And so what do you do? And I'm not talking to you, Safira. I mean, I guess in a sense, what you're doing is you're going to make it as good as you can, right? What I think I would do still, if I was in a church and I was just a layperson, and there was Sunday school, and there were 2 pastors, and there were multiple services, is we'd go to church, and the kids would come with us to adult Bible study if there was one. They wouldn't go to Sunday school. Even if you had a Sunday school with Concordia Catechetical Academy, we would still take them to adult Bible study with us, because we really believe that firmly. It's just a bad idea. It's just a bad idea. No matter how you do it, no matter how good you try to make it, it's going to divide you as a family, and the family is the root of the people. So why would you do that? But you can't fight it for everybody else. And again, we're ignorant enough to be doing it to ourselves, to be dividing and conquering ourselves for those who hate us. We're ignorant enough to do that. And so how do you fight back where you are? Maybe you do go. right? Maybe you get involved. You got to make those calls, and I don't want to judge people as sin for how you make calls that are about wise, foolish in the moment, and we all kind of get gray areas in there. But when we're talking about the principle of the thing, the philosophy, the movement of history, I'm looking at this from like a really wide, long-term perspective, and I'm saying it hasn't helped us. It isn't helping us. Well, why don't we go back to what the Bible says, which is families? Yeah, and that's the very thing that's being attacked, right? You notice that? So why would you keep helping that? Why would you not? If you get the chance to go back to square one, go back to square one. It's a tough time, though. I mean, if it is the question, are you going to keep your kids or not? Are you going to keep your kids or not?